This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Clean Cut Barbershop, located on 21 East Kelsey Avenue in Salt Lake City, Utah. To schedule an appointment, visit cleancutbarbershopslc.com. Walk-ins are also welcome. Mention Short Story Bingo and receive $5 off your first visit. Now, on to the show!
Ooh, that's a bingo!
Is that the way you say it? That's a bingo.
You just said bingo. Bingo! How fun!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite storytelling podcast. This is Short Story Bingo. My name is Nate Chacon III. If this is your first time, welcome. If this is your second time, the retention program is working. Episode 42 is ready to go on, man. So we're about to get into this. What I do on this podcast is I read stories that you might not ever care to read and bring that over to the table and comment about it. It's like Audible. Sorta. Anyway, I am your host again, Nate Chacon III. What we're going to read today is from the Scary Stories series by Alvin Schwartz. Scary Stories 3 is what we're reading out of this. And I think it was one of the first episodes that we read out of. I didn't do my own research, so there's that. But we're going to be reading Harold, the Killer Scarecrow. And if you haven't read this book, spoiler alert. Just kidding. I'm not going to give you a spoiler. But yeah, no, it's good. It's a good one. It's about two brothers and, you know, they're on a farm and happen to have a scarecrow issue. So we're going to be reading out of that today. Make sure to go check out the last episode 41, where I read with my boy MC Soul Lyricist, called The Red Room by H.G. Wells. He's incredible, and the episode turned out great. The story was wonderful. So, and obviously, if there's episode 41, that means there's 40 beyond 41 that you have to binge on. I certainly notice that happens often. You end up, going down kind of a rabbit hole when it comes to podcasts. I do the same thing. But anyhow, let's get into our random Twitter follower shout out. And today it is at Grizzly Beats. And to spell that, it's Grizzly and then Beats. So B-E-A-T. And he put a Z. So B-E-A-T-Z. It would be really weird if, he put an S. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. It is Friday, so if you have some fun plans, buckle up. If you're going to be binging on your favorite Netflix show, let me know which one it is. Maybe it's super cool, and I might want to watch it. So, yeah, we're just out here hanging out. Let's make sure to hit the top 3 countries and top 3 states. Drum roll, please. Okay, you probably can barely hear that. But the top 3 states, the top 3 countries have not changed. Well, I mean, one country did. So it was the United States, the United Kingdom, and Canada. India was in there, but they came in close. Well, they're just right at 4th, just barely. And then for the state side of things, top 3 are going to be Utah, Maryland, and Texas. So thank you to all the listeners. If I didn't mention your state, don't feel bad. Just start listening more. Again, we're gonna get into the Scary Story series. The Scary Story series when we get back into it. Also, make sure again you heard the ad at the beginning, but Clean Cut Barbershop, they are the official sponsor. If you go in and mention the short story, you mention the podcast, you get $5 off your first purchase, and that even goes for if you want to take your kid there. Maybe they need to get a nice shave. Jody and the boys over there would take care of you. So with all that said, email us shortstorybingo@gmail.com. I certainly appreciate new stories that come in on that route. We got some pretty exciting guests coming up in the next couple weeks. Thank you guys so much for riding with me, and obviously we got to get into the intro music. Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones by Alvin Schwartz. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Sometimes they're funny and sometimes they're sad. Most of the time they're funny because I hate to be sad. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. Short story bingo. But don't take my word for it. Spare fingers. When it got hot in the valley, Thomas and Alfred drove their cows up to a cool green pasture in the mountains to graze. Usually they stayed there with the cows for 2 months. Then they brought them down to the valley again. The work was easy enough, but it was boring. All day the two men tended their cows. At night they went back to the tiny hut where they had lived. What is this? Fucking tent city? Jesus, man. And then, so built the tiny hut where they lived. They ate supper and worked in the garden and went to sleep. It was always the same. Fucking Groundhog's Day, man. Then Thomas had an idea that changed everything. Let's make a doll the size of a man, he said. It'd be fun to make, and we could put it in the garden to scare away the birds. I should look like Harold, Alfred said. Harold was a farmer they both hated. Oh, shit. I said I should look like Harold. It is what I meant to say. It should look like Harold. Okay. Harold was a farmer they both hated. Yeah, fuck Harold. We're going to go ahead and make a fucking scarecrow that we're going to put a pole on it, and birds are going to pick at it, and anytime I see it, I'm going to think of Harold. Because last time he saw me buying my almond breeze. Look, I like almond milk, and I'm just trying to live a little more healthy in my life. He gave me a weird look. So, Harold. Fuck Harold. Harold was a farmer they both hated. They made the doll out of old sacks stuffed with straw. They gave it a pointy nose, like Harold's, and tiny eyes like his. Then they added dark hair and a twisted frown. Of course, they only gave it Harold's name. No, you didn't give him like a fucking middle name or something, like Harold Bartholomew, fucking Alfred, or whatever the fuck you guys' names, and Thomas and Alfred. It's a little disingenuous. Also, I have to mention, like, I don't know when was the last time you read out of these books, the Scary Stories series with Alvin Schwartz, but the artwork, because I got all three at a secondhand store out here in Salt Lake City. I got all three. Like, I was like totally dead set on getting them, and I got all three in one sitting. It was super random but super awesome. Anyway, the drawings that are illustrated by Stephen Gamble, he's in a bunch of other stuff too. Like, if you Google him, he's doing a lot. But anyway, the artwork is super dope. So if you haven't read out of these books for a while, I strongly suggest it for sure. And obviously, these are like hair-raising tales, to the adolescent crowd. So, enjoy, man. This would be cool. All right, okay. It should look like Harold, Alfred said. Harold was a farmer they both hated. They made the doll out of old sacks stuffed with straws. They gave it a pointy nose like Harold's and tiny eyes like his. Then they added dark hair and a twisted frown. Of course, they also gave it Harold's name. Each morning, on their way to the pasture, they tied Harold to a pole in the garden to scare away the birds. Each night, they brought him inside so that he wouldn't get so that he wouldn't get ruined if it rained. For sure that's what you do, but to some degree, isn't that a little creepy? Like, that you're like just carrying this huge scarecrow. I don't know. I've never been on like a working farm or whatever, but it seems a little weird to me. All right. Well, so to a pole in the garden to scare away the birds. Each night, they brought him inside so that he wouldn't get ruined if it rained. Okay. When they were feeling playful, they would talk to him. One of them might say, "How are the vegetables growing today, Harold?" Then the other make believe he was Harold would answer in a crazy voice, very slowly. They both would laugh, but not Harold, because he's not fucking real. That's why he's not laughing. Whenever something went wrong, they took it out on Harold. They would curse at him, even kick him or punch him. Sometimes I just want to hear that, like put that scene together. And also, whenever something went wrong, like, what does that even mean? Like, what would go wrong with a scarecrow? What, like not scaring enough crows off? Is there like a criterion that scarecrows have to live under? Is there a creed for scarecrows? Okay, fellas. Yeah, come on in. Yeah, there's plenty of room up here at the front. I know, Simmons, I know that you definitely have a hard time with paying attention. I was just coming up front. So anyway, what I wanted to teach you guys about is, how scarecrows aren't real. That's fucking it. That's all that it is. Whenever something went wrong, they took it out on Harold. They would curse at him, even kick him or punch him. Sometimes one of them would take the food they were eating, which they both were sick of, and smear it on the doll's face. How do you like that stew, Harold? He would ask. Well, you better eat it or else. Then the two men would howl with laughter. I mean, it is pretty fucking funny. One night, after Thomas had wiped Harold's face with food, Harold grunted. Did you hear that? Alfred asked. It was Harold, Thomas said. I was watching him when it happened. I can't believe it. How could he grunt? Alfred asked. He's just a sack of straw. It's not possible. Which is what I just fucking said, man. So thank you for bringing that back to, the obvious. Let's throw. Okay, so how could he grunt? Alfred asked. He's just a sack of straw and bullshit and potatoes. It's not possible. Let's throw him in the fire, said Thomas, and that'll be that. Let's not do something stupid, said Alfred. We don't know what's going on. When we move the cows down, we'll leave him behind for now. Let's just keep an eye on him. So they left Harold sitting in a corner of the hut. They didn't talk to him or take him outside anymore. Now and then the dog. Oh, what the fuck? What? How does that read? They didn't talk to him or take him outside anymore. Now and then the dog grunted. Now and then the dog grunted? What the fuck kind of sentence is that? Is that real? Now and then the dog grunted. Now and then. Oh, Jesus, I got it. You guys just went through that aha process for me. Okay. So they left Harold sitting in a corner of the hut. They didn't talk to him or take him outside anymore. Now and then, there we go, the dog grunted. It just reminds me of like that little growl that dogs get, like a... But that was all. After a few days, they decided there was nothing to be afraid of. Maybe a mouse or some insects had gotten inside Harold and were making those sounds. So Thomas and Alfred went back to their old ways. Each morning they put Harold out in the garden, and each night they brought him back into the hut. When they felt playful, they joked with him. When they felt mean, they treated him as badly as ever. So I guess like you're just describing like regular shit. Like if I'm not doing something well, I can expect to be called out on it, and vice versa. What the fuck? But it's Harold. He's made of straw and fucking actual straws. Okay, so Thomas and Alfred, went back to their old ways. Each morning they put Harold out in the garden, and each night they brought him back into the hut. When they felt playful, they joked with him. When they felt mean, they treated him as badly as ever. Then one night, Alfred noticed something that frightened him. Harold's growing, he said. I was thinking the same thing, Thomas said. Maybe it's just our imagination, Alfred replied. We have been up here on this mountain too long. I mean, you guys are up there for 2 fucking months. That's intense to guard the radio tower, which is super important. So the next morning, while they were eating, Harold stood up and walked out of the hut. He climbed up on the roof. What the fuck? He's just Harold, the scarecrow, is just like walking. Like, sir, what shoes do you have that qualify for that type of activity? Fucking Harold. The next morning while they were eating, Harold stood up and walked out of the hut. All right. He climbed up on the roof and trotted back and forth like a horse on its hind legs. Wow. All day and all night long, he trotted like that. Oh my God. I'm calling cops. I mean, somebody's definitely going to pay for my lack of sleep. What the yeah. All right, so they decided to take the cows down to the valley that same day. When they left, Harold was nowhere in sight. They felt as if they had escaped a great danger and began joking and singing. But when they had gone only a minute or two, they realized they had forgotten to bring the milking stools. Ooh, neither one wanted to go back for them. Yeah, man, fucking. But the stools would cost a lot to replace. Yeah, so then grab it. Yeah, for sure. There really is nothing to be afraid of, they told one another. After all, what could a doll do? That is the question right there. And that's going to be what I'm sure is going to be the drawing factor in here. They drew straws to see which one would go back. It was Thomas. Alfred was still chill. I'll catch up with you, he said, and Alfred walked on toward the valley. When Alfred came to a rise in the path, he looked back for Thomas. He did not see him anywhere. But he did see Harold. The doll was on the roof of the hut again. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out a body. Stretched out a bloody skin. Hold on, Jesus Christ. Let me restart that. Okay, they drew straws to see which one would go back. It was Thomas. I'll catch up with you, he said, and Alfred walked on toward the valley. When Alfred came to a rise in the path, he looked back for Thomas. He did not see him anywhere, but he did see Harold. The doll was on the roof of the hut again. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled. The NFL does not thank you for that, by the way. Harold kneeled and stretched out a bloody skin to dry in the sun. What the fuck? Oh my God. This is a short one, y'all. This is a very short one. Again, Scary Stories 3, more tales to chill your bones. What did I say at the end there? As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out a body able to dry in the sun. Okay. Yeah. I mean, just do avoid as many tickets as possible and start Mr. Brooksing your fucking houses, man. So you don't miss one thing. All right. Episode 42 is in the books. My name is Nate Chacon III. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me again. We have 41 other episodes for you to certainly take a look at. I always get asked what my top couple are, and one of the one with Fred West recently is one of the big ones that I love the most. And then also William Topaz McGonagall. So that's episode 30 and episode for the oh well, whatever. So yeah, the episode 30 and then the Fred West one. So it's 29 and 30. I had a good week, to tell you the truth, like as far as learning some new stuff. So thank you guys so much again for riding with me. Again, go check out the random Twitter follower shout out this week, which is at Grizzly Beats. And that's spelled GrizzlyBeatz. Let him know, tweet at him, say Short Story Bingo sent me here and wanted to say hi or whatever. And then also, of course, Clean Cut Barbershop to Jody and the homies over there. They are doing a fantastic job. Again, mention the podcast and you receive $5 off your first purchase. So again, that's Clean Cut Barbershop on 21 Kelsey Avenue in Salt Lake City, Utah, 84111. Get your kid a haircut. That's cool. Anyway, and then send in any new episodes, or by episode I mean new stories that you're willing to share to shortstorybingo@gmail.com. Again, that's shortstorybingo@gmail.com. Episode 42 is in the books, suckers. This is going to be a good one. I love Harold. It's a trip. I mean, the stretched out skin, like, sir, you just want to attract fucking wasps or something, because dry ass skin is fucking, I'm sure that they love. I mean, you could just put a steak out, a raw steak, and you can see how many wasps end up sitting on top of it. But yeah, Harold kneeled. So one more time, the last part. As Alfred watched, Harold kneeled and stretched out a bloody skin to dry in the sun. Okay, well, whatever. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. Do you got a question for me? Yeah, you in the back. Yeah, can you start playing music at the end of your episodes? I mean, I might start doing that. Whatever I'm feeling for the day, I might put that at the end. I'll consider it. Next, the next question over there in the back. So I was listening to the podcast and I was curious about, you take it all crazy. But I was curious about how much time and effort. I'll stop you right there. So I just read the stories and I just get in. Oh, that's nice. What a funny way to end it with this hypothetical fucking press conference about this fucking podcast. I love it. All right. Okay. Well, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Stay out of trouble, or if you find yourself in some sort of shit, make sure to say the least amount as possible. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what they tell me. Short Story Bingo, episode 42. My name is Nate Chacon III. Make sure to stream, to rate and review on iTunes if you have not done it already. I certainly appreciate it. And the algorithms in which, I get more plays or what have you on their platform, is certainly appreciated. Oh, one other thing I want to mention before I go, based on the feed hits over the last 30 days, the total amount of hits are 11,821. We're going to do some quick math here. Just see. Okay. That's it. This fucking sucks because it's just taking so much time to talk about. Okay, so 11. What was it again? 11,821 over the last 821 over the last 30 days. So let's carry the 7. Okay, 394 hits per day. So we're continuing to keep going up. Again, we're going to have some great hosts too. So enjoy your weekend. Happy Podcast Friday. Short Story Bingo. Bye.
Dun, dun, dun. Spare fingers. Cheers.